Howdy, here we finish up with part 5 of chapter 12. Effective strategic leaders recognize the importance of managing and integrating financial, human, social, and organizational capital. They need to be able to manage the entire resource portfolio of the organization. Effective strategic leaders are able to manage this resource portfolio in ways that increase the likelihood of strong performance. So developing human capital and social capital are critical roles of strategic leaders. So human capital is the knowledge and skills of the firm's entire workforce and are a capital resource that requires investment in training and development. Social capital is relationships inside and outside the firm that help it accomplish tasks and create value for customers and shareholders. Organizational culture is another important concern for leadership. This is the complex set of ideologies, symbols, and core values shared through the firm that influences the way business is conducted. It's also important for a firm to have an entrepreneurial mindset or orientation. Personal characteristics that encourage or discourage entrepreneurial opportunities include autonomy, proactiveness, innovativeness, and risk-taking. Leaders that encourage these characteristics and these types of behaviors are likely to have a more entrepreneurial result in their organizations. Sometimes it can become necessary to change an organization's culture. For example, the founder of Uber, Travis Kalanick, led a very toxic work environment. The culture was very negative for a lot of people. So it came time to fix and change the culture. Kalanick was let go by the board of directors and new leaders had to come in to fix those things. However, changing a firm's organizational culture is more difficult than maintaining it. Effective strategic leaders do recognize when change in culture is needed. Shaping and reinforcing culture requires effective communication, problem-solving skills, selection of the right people, effective performance appraisals, and appropriate reward systems. Effectiveness of processes used to implement the firm's strategies increases when based on ethical practices. Ethical practices create social capital and goodwill for the firm. Actions that develop an ethical organizational culture include establishing and communicating specific goals to describe the firm's ethical standards, continuously revising and updating the code of conduct, and disseminating the code of conduct to all stakeholders to inform them of the firm's ethical standards and practices. They also include developing and implementing methods and procedures to use in achieving the firm's ethical standards, creating and using explicit reward systems that recognize acts of courage, and creating a work environment in which all people are treated with dignity. Having balanced organizational controls can be necessary to make these types of changes. So controls are formal, information-based procedures used by managers to maintain or alter patterns in organizational activities. Controls help strategic leaders to build credibility, to demonstrate the value of strategies to the firm stakeholders, and to promote and support strategic change. So question number 5, what are some observable and measurable behaviors that would support an ethical work environment?